Tom Homan, the border czar, says if we can get access to Cook County in Illinois, the country would be a whole lot safer. Number 29.
It was a sanctuary city, and it's a target-rich environment. We know a lot of illegal aliens live here. We know we don't have access to Cook County Jail, one of the biggest jails in the country. And I'll say it again: if the politicians, the mayor, and the governor would just simply work with us and let us in that jail, to arrest the bad guy in jail is safer for the officer, it's safer for the alien, it's safer for the community. I don't get it.
He was asked whether ICE plans to go to schools, plans to go to churches. Here's what he said. Number 30.
Do you plan, under certain circumstances, to go into churches and schools at some point?
I'll never say never. If there's a national security threat that we know is in a certain place, on a college campus, well, we're going to get that national security threat. If he's a significant public safety threat that's in what we used to call a sensitive location, no, we're going to enforce the law.
Homan says people in Chicago are cheering his arrival. Number 12.
Well, look, I went to Chicago a couple times, met with black pastors, met with the community. They were begging for ICE enforcement action because of the crime in Chicago. I made a commitment to them that we'd be out there. I also made a commitment to the mayor of Chicago that I'm coming to Chicago, even though he said I wasn't welcomed, and along with Governor Pritzker. And plus, just a few days ago, Pritzker did put on social media that ICE was in an elementary school. I wanted to make a point that ICE is going to do that job regardless if they're going to help us or not. As far as the local community, nothing but cheers walking through the airport, cheers walking through the streets. We stopped at a police station to take a nature break, and we went on the road so long, and every uniform in that building walked up, shook our hands, and thanked us for being there and helping them make their communities more safe.
And it turned out ICE was not in an elementary school. That was Secret Service because of a perceived threat against the president. And that's what Selena Gomez was talking about when she was crying about the children. It wasn't ICE, it was Secret Service. And Homan says that everybody we arrested in Chicago yesterday was a significant public safety threat. Number 3.
Look, I don't know exact numbers with me, but I'll give you an example. I was in Chicago yesterday for that operation, and everybody but I think four were collateral arrests. Everybody else was a criminal. And when I walked out at the end of my shift, we already had, I think, 9 tren de agua. 2 of them actually being charged with crimes because here's an illegal alien gang member in the United States selling illegal guns in the neighborhood, and they even sold the switches, which turned the gun into fully automatic machine guns. We arrested, I think we had a total of 7 sexual predators, sexual crimes against children. We had 2 illegal aliens convicted of murder that were released by that state prison back to the streets. So everybody we arrested in Chicago yesterday was a significant public safety threat. There were several collateral arrests, so they happened to be there when we arrested the bad guy. So this operation right now is concentrated on public safety threats and national security threats throughout the country.
And this Chicago resident said, Mr. Homan, please, come on down. Number 24.
Final thoughts are, Tom Homan, you are welcome. I voted for President Trump. And let me tell you something. I was one of those lifelong Democrats. I started voting at 18, voted in every election, voted Democrat in every election except this last one because I'm just tired. I'm tired of the same old thing happening from the Democratic Party. I'm so glad that President Trump is now delivering on some of his promises. I heard Stephen Smith ask this earlier on Bill Maher's show. What has the Democrats delivered for us lately?
Now, this is a former Obama ICE director praising what Trump has been doing. Number 5.
And the White House is claiming victory after a showdown with Colombia over deportation flights. President Trump threatening the country with tariffs and a travel ban, and the Colombian president said they wouldn't accept military planes and vowed to fight back, but then, just as quickly, backed down. So all of that is happening, and first up on the conversation list today with us is John Sandweg, who ran ICE in the Obama years. This Colombia business, first of all, on that, what did you make of that? There was a lot of back and forth yesterday. Then Colombia, I guess, backs down, according to the White House. Trade war on hold. Your view on how the whole thing played out?
Donald, it's really interesting. One of the greatest impediments that President Trump has to his mass deportation plan are recalcitrant countries. And this has been a problem in immigration enforcement going back 20, 25 years. There are certain countries who just won't take their people back, and then other countries who are very selective about the people they will take back. Typically, the only response you have, because the United States just can't forcibly deport people back to another country without authorization, the response you have is diplomatic. But more often than not, it's been very low-level diplomacy. So we send a diplomatic note. Maybe we send a delegation to complain about the fact these countries won't take their people back.
Right.
This was a really stunning, obviously, very powerful response. Never have I seen the President of the United States get this involved in it, and where he's going to invoke all of the tools available, to foreign policy, sanctions, visa restrictions, trade, tariffs, right? But I will say this, that it kind of highlights what we've seen writ large, which is that the president has elevated immigration enforcement and border security to the highest levels of national security and foreign policy in the United States. Really, this ended up being nothing more than kind of consistent with that, saying this is a top national security priority of the United States.
Again, that is the former guy under Obama praising what Trump has done. Hey, never has a president gotten involved at this level. Never has a president used this kind of pressure. Problem is, a lot of countries don't take back bad guys, he says. Well, Donald Trump was able to make them take back bad guys. And Homan says if they're in the country illegally, they are going to get arrested, number 2.
So the majority of those yesterday did have criminal records, and do you believe the majority of today's numbers have criminal records?
I won't see those numbers till midnight tonight, but again, we're focused on criminals. But I think you and I discussed before, but in sanctuary cities, you're going to see a higher number of collateral arrests. I mean, we're going to have more criminals, but there's going to be a big number of what we call collateral, because when we're forced into the neighborhood to find the bad guy,
they are going to be arrested.
Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.